The rain fell softly over the streets of Paris, turning the city into a living painting of gold reflections and gray skies. It was the kind of evening that felt suspended in time, where every drop carried a whisper, and every light shimmered like a memory waiting to be made. Emma stepped out of the train station, a small suitcase rolling behind her, her brown hair damp from the mist that hung in the air. She had crossed an ocean to be here, to escape the noise of New York and the chaos of everything she'd left behind. The streets smelled of rain and roasted chestnuts. Somewhere in the distance, a saxophone played. She tightened her coat, looked around, and realized she didn't really know where she was going, only that she had to keep walking. Then she heard a voice. "Taxi doesn't stop in the rain," someone said with a hint of laughter in their tone. Emma turned. A man stood under a street lamp, rain dripping from his hair, a camera hanging from his neck. He looked like a photograph himself, light and shadow perfectly placed. He smiled. "Maybe," he said, "they stop for people who look less lost." Emma raised a brow. "Do I look that bad?" "Only a little," he teased. "I'm Adrian." She smiled. Emma. And just like that, a name met another name, and two stories began to tangle. They walked together under his umbrella, laughing at broken English and worse French, until they found a small cafe tucked between old stone walls. The windows glowed amber. Inside, time seemed slower. Steam rose from their coffee cups. Rain tapped gently at the glass. "You live here?" Emma asked. Adrian nodded. "Born here." "Photographer. And you?" "I guess I'm a traveler, or at least trying to be." He tilted his head. "Trying is already something." They talked about everything: music, dreams, why people run away, and what they hope to find when they stop. Emma said softly, "Maybe I came here to get lost." Adrian looked at her, like she'd just said something he'd always known. "Then Paris is a good place to be lost," he said. "It's full of people finding themselves." The way he said it made her chest feel lighter, like maybe she wasn't running anymore. Hours slipped away. When they finally stepped back into the street, the rain had slowed to a silver drizzle. "Tomorrow," Adrian said. "Sunrise? Montmartre? Bring your camera." She laughed. "Why?" "Because the light there, it doesn't wait for anyone." And for the first time in a long time, she felt like she didn't want to miss the morning. The next day, Paris woke up soft and golden. Emma climbed the hill to Montmartre, her hair catching sunlight, the sound of street musicians floating up from below. Adrien was already there, his camera poised at the horizon. "You're late," he said, smiling. "You're early." He turned the lens toward her. "Hold still." "I hate pictures of me," she said quickly. "Then I'll take one you'll love." The shutter clicked, a sound that froze the air between them. Later, they wandered through the city. He showed her where painters left their dreams on walls, where bridges carried secrets between lovers. She photographed markets, laughter, and stray cats sleeping by cafes. At sunset, they stood by the Seine, watching light ripple across the water. Emma whispered, "Do you ever think the right people meet at the wrong time?" Adrian's eyes softened. "Maybe there's no wrong time. Maybe there's only the right person." Silence stretched, and in that silence, something fragile but real began to bloom. Days blurred. Nights deepened. They became a rhythm. Coffee at noon, long walks at dusk, and endless conversations that started nowhere but ended everywhere. Emma found herself laughing more, dreaming more, and taking fewer pictures because now the moments were too beautiful to trap in a frame. Sometimes Adrian would catch her looking at him like she was afraid he'd vanish if she blinked. He'd smile softly, as if promising he wouldn't. One night, they sat beside the river. The air was cold, the moon reflected in broken ripples. Emma broke the quiet. What happens when I have to go back? Adrian didn't answer right away. Finally, he said, Then we have now. Now? She repeated. He nodded. This is ours. Tonight. Here. And then, beneath the bridge lights, he kissed her, slowly, carefully, as if the world might end if he moved too fast. When he pulled back, she whispered, Promise me you'll remember this. How could I forget, he said, when it feels like the first thing I'll remember in another life. A week later, the clock started counting down. Her flight home was only 3 days away. The city felt different, still beautiful, but heavier. Every laugh came with a shadow, every kiss, a countdown. They met at the same cafe where it had begun. Rain again, as if Paris understood the need for a poetic circle. Emma stirred her coffee slowly. I could stay, she whispered. Adrian smiled sadly. And what would you do here? Be with you. He shook his head. And when the magic fades? When I forget to close the window and you get cold? When life becomes normal? She reached for his hand. Then I'll remind you why you loved the rain. That night, they met again, one last time, on the bridge overlooking the river. The city shimmered below them, the Eiffel Tower glowing like a heartbeat in the fog. Emma's voice broke. I hate goodbyes. Then don't say it, he said softly. Let's just walk. So they did, in silence, their footsteps echoing on the stone, their shadows stretching behind them, as if trying to hold on longer than they could. At the center of the bridge, he stopped. If you ever look at the Seine and think of me, he whispered, I'll be looking at the Hudson, thinking of you. She tried to smile, but tears blurred the world. Promise? Promise. The clock tower struck midnight. Rain began again, soft, unrelenting. She kissed him one last time. It tasted like salt, the sea between them, the tears, the goodbye. Then she turned and walked away. Adrian stood there long after she was gone, the umbrella still open, rain dripping from his fingertips. He lifted his camera, focused on the empty bridge, and clicked. The flash flickered like lightning. One last memory captured.